Sasha has been and is still doing many, many things. She's a senior executive, angel investor, and philanthropist with 20 years executive business career in HP and a multi-dimensional track record of service to society. If I had to go through all of her accomplishments and achievements, by the time I'm finished, probably half of the conference will be gone. So I would mention just a few of them. She is the founder of MOVE.BG, the initiator of EDIT.BG, and the main force behind the Changemakers. Sasha is chair of the board of the Bulgarian Center of Women in Technologies, WWF-CEE, member of the investment committee of EIC, and advisor in Green Tech Alliance. Sasha is the initiator of the Green Restart Coalition. She is also a mentor and an angel investor in a number of technological and sustainability startups. Sasha was named Digital Woman of Europe for 2013 and one of the top 100 challengers in New Europe 100 for 2015, and holds many other national and European awards for her contribution to social development. As you can tell, she is the embodiment of a SHEleader. Sasha is going to engage us with the topic sustainability as a core value, enabling and growing green culture. Put your hands together for Sasha Bezuhanova.
Dear friends, I'm really pleased to stand before you and to give a start to this special journey that we will have today. For those of you who has participated in some of the previous editions of SHEleader, it's known that we engage here in this forum with big topics of our time and try in a collaboration to find solutions that are, of course, stressing on the effect of the technological advancements and also via the female lens, is SHEleader. This year, the list of possible topics was very long. The Russian war in Ukraine and its effects to the world, the post-pandemic psychological effects to society and, of course, on individual level, the shrinking democratic space that, of course, has a great effect, negative one, to the women's rights. Look at just what's going on in Iran at the moment. And having, though, to choose one topic, we decided to devote this year's SHEleader at Digital dialogue on the topic of sustainability, because climate crisis is the one's most critical risk that we find at the moment. And unfortunately, because of the different other crises and events, seems that is a little bit underestimated and goes in the corner. Why this is important? It was put in the best possible way by Tejo Maya, and I really want to thank on my personal behalf, and of course, hopefully also this is the view of the whole group here in the room on the way how she packaged this and synchronize us around the topic. But I also want to share a couple of words on the importance of the nature for our life, because the nature is practically the foundation for our well-being and prosperity. And we tend to not calculate this. We accept it for given. We continue to measure the progress in our individual business, societal actions by not really counting the effect that those actions has on the environment. But that's wrong, because as I've said earlier, the environmental disbalance, the loss of natural habitats and the climate crisis are the most critical systemic challenges that we are facing at the moment. And unfortunately, they are created and affected by by us. So what we see is really critical shrinking of the worldwide ecosystem, unprecedented in the human history. We have 68% of limitation of the wildlife territory since 1970. We see also intensifying disaster situations that are affecting the infrastructure, our cities, and of course are the biggest security risk for our businesses. Today, we are paying on a yearly basis $300 billion in accordance to address the effects of those disasters. And this is a result of our actions. Those are money that doesn't go in education, that doesn't go in development, and create a really very, very big risk with a relatively short horizon before us, because UN is alarming that in the next 20 years, if we don't do massive urgent actions to limit climate crisis and of course global warming, about 200 million people will be at risk for their places of living, and there will be a climate migrants. Imagine what is the effect on the social system, on the working systems, on the quality of life, on the ability we collectively to address this challenge. So we need to change fundamentally our perceptions towards the nature and our role in this process. Because we humans are not the masters of the environment. We are just one of the species. And when we speak about the risks, planet is not at risk. The humanity is at stake at the moment. Because planet has its abilities, being a complex system, to really give a home for those species that are living in alignment. And again, we humans are just one of the species. So being conscious individuals and community members, we should correct urgently our behaviors and to introduce sustainability measures, practices, and actions in our business practices, in the policies that we accept on a political level, but also in our individual daily routines. It is also very important we to grow the next generation with the consciousness, with the respect to the nature, with understanding on how the ecosystem runs. And that's what we should do today. Because we have very limited time. There is also pragmatic business argument for this. The ecosystem services account in $125 trillion a year in terms of drinkable water or water for industries or productive soils, or the forestry and oceans that are absorbing carbons. That's the environment that is very much needed for us to do what we want to do. And also what was one of the motivations for Europe to take the lead and to introduce this holistic agenda, the Green Deal for Europe as a fundamental program for development of our societies within our club, is also the fact that greening our industries and nature-based economy can produce about 10 billion new jobs by 2030, and this is something that, of course, is of interest to us people that are engaged in the business. So how to achieve this? We, of course, speak socially about this. There are activist engagements. There are, thanks God, more and more bubbles that are engaged and drive environmental agenda. But being here, I want to mention something that, in my view, can really catalyze the process. And that's the female power that proved to be engaged much more with inclusiveness and impact-driven agenda, exactly what we need in accordance to fix the problem, or at least to limit the effects of climate crisis. So maybe you share also same view, and you know it from the practice around you, is that the new businesses that are more circular, eco-friendly, and also energy alternative are very often initiated by women. In the companies where on the boards you have more women, it's more likely the green practices to be introduced much faster. I see some of those leaders knocking, being in the forefront of those initiatives. We see the parliaments around the world where they are predominantly women or more women, they are adopting more stringent green practices and policies for their countries, for their people. So it is important to invoke this energy in service of Mother Nature, but primarily in service of the humanity for the future that we want to build. And that's why we decided to devote the topic, the debate of today's conference on the sustainability line. We'll look at it from different angles. We'll hear during the day what are the best practices of big corporations towards greening their operations. We will also see the businesses that were created with the mission to support the environmental agenda. We'll talk about ESGs, the science-based measurement framework that can help us navigate this process in a more systemic way in our organizations, no matter if those are businesses or non-profit organizations or even political organizations. And of course, as always, we'll look in the art that is really engaging emotionally larger part of the community to really be engaged with this mission, looking at it from a little bit different angle, the technological part and also the art as a business devoted to sustainability. Last but not least, during today's session, we'll talk about the nature-based solutions. Remember the $125 trillion yearly ecosystem service that can only be available if we support the nature and we also invest into positivity, into recovery of this nature. Today here on the stage we have invited men and women leaders and innovators to cover those topics based on their experience and visions, because the care for the future does not have sex. Men and women, we all equally with all forces, actions and contribution should work on this agenda. And I'm sure everybody of you, or everybody who is following us at the moment online will take from this day not only motivation, but very practical ideas and solutions that can be implemented as of tomorrow in their specific business practices or individual routines. At the end of the conference, we will announce a special initiative. So stay with us, participate, and enjoy one very productive and truthful day. Thank you for being here.